Durag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our new year, Earth date Y2k20.01.06 with 301 days, 301 to the election. Happy New Year and Happy New Decade to all. As I survey the dawn of Y2k20, I am struck with profound sadness for the waste that I call the human race. Here we are on a glorious planet, perfect for the perpetuation of life. Yet we, our species, ironically enough, are dedicated to death. Look around the world today, and between the pristine beaches, the trackless forests, and the vast deserts, we serve each other mostly pain and destruction. It does not matter where we live. Human beings, for the most part, use and abuse everything they can lay their claws on. We literally eat each other up alive. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight snack. Look around the world today, filled to the cesspool brim with hatred, fear, disease, homelessness, murder, war, brutal death. Truly, I can't imagine our species lasting beyond the next 200 years. And that's a conservative estimate. But then again, I am biased to the extreme as a pessimistic cynic after a lifelong of bull crap. I'm a cynic so bitter that every pore of my being bleeds. I wish that I was wrong, and I hope I could be proven wrong. But look what we've done. Many savage, naked ape nations now in the 21st century have embraced dictators, climate deniers, vicious, incompetent, rich thugs, racism, xenophobic idiots filled with homophobia. And just when you thought our nation would be immune, our nation, the so-called beacon on the hill, we irresponsibly placed in charge of our country a fascist birther traitor who loves Putin and other dictators, a fiend that has just maybe got us into another shooting war, a criminal white supremacist named Donald Trump. We are not evolving, folks. We are devolving. The United States of America, in spite of its dark side, has been on the side of the liberal world order. NATO, human rights, democracy. As a superpower in this naked ape madhouse, our fall would mean the virtual end. The United States fall would mean a virtual end to this liberal world order and the beginning of something out of a nightmare. Our goal as American citizens is to see the continuation of the liberal world order, the so-called liberal world order, or die. It is as simple as that. We have 301 days left. 301 days left until we have the presidential election, where we must not only get rid of Donald Trump, but his Trumpist party with him. Trump is being backed by billions of dollars, and Putin's right behind it all. I knew without any doubt exactly how the Putin's president was going to react to his inevitable impeachment. he wagged the tail of a Great Dane and has brought us into another Mid-East war, or at the very least, to its precipice. So every problem that occurs in that region is going to fall upon Trump's cursed, surgically shrunken skull. Every cyber attack, every terrorist attack, every bit of increased conflict is a result of the Putin-bred incompetence coming out of the White House. Everything bad, horrific, bloody. How many more people are going to die because of Putin's president? In a world of sudden death, the USA can ill afford an enemy in our White House, especially an enemy that was put there by the enemy of the liberal order, Putin. Vladimir Putin, who wants nothing less than world domination. A world dominated by oligarch, totalitarian, and religious extremist scum. We have 301 days left until the presidential election. A day when we decide the fate of the United States of America. Do we want to see our 240-plus experiment in democracy suddenly fail? Or do we want to continue to survive as a free country, living free in the defiance of all dictators everywhere, both foreign and now sadly domestic? We need to consider exactly what we are going to do to get the Putin president and his Trumpist party out of our lives. So consider the attacks on our rights that we have already suffered at the hands of the birther racist Trumpist fiend. Press briefings have been replaced. Remember those press briefings? You know, freedom of the press? Well, they've been replaced by a screeching, screaming creep yelling at us, the voters, in front of his helicopter. Notice that President Moron has allowed himself and his cursed family many benefits at our expense. Comes out of our tax guts. Every time the traitor's fiend uses his Mar-a-Shlako for anything, we have been paying for it. We are now witness to violations of human rights, including the separation of children from their parents and locking up of all of these folks in concentration detention camps, Bo Teach. We've seen tax breaks for the rich on our broken backs. F the so-called economy that he's praising. That's the only thing that should matter. Stop us! Give us a little pittance more money for it. Because it's the rich that are benefiting the most, not you and I. We've seen a rise in the carnage, the bloody hatred in our country, mass murder, hate crimes being perpetrated in full force because of a traitor Trump who claims that there are good Nazis on the other side too. People of color, Jews, Muslims, Latinos, LGBTQ Americans are under vicious, violent attack at the behest of the hater-in-chief. We've seen the proliferation of Putin-engendered conspiracy theories, including the canard that Ukraine, not Russia, invaded our sacred elections. Conspiracy theories against our country, against our national security, have insinuated their way into the very halls of our government. What a nightmare! We've seen Congress, Mitch McDumbell, Moscow Mitch, Trump, defying our Constitution. They want to have a kangaroo trial for Trump that exonerates him so he can go on and on and on doing Putin's bidding. We've seen the undermining of the judicial branch as Trump and his Trumpists have filled it with religious extremist right-wing turds. We've seen these Trumpists attempting and have succeeded in throwing people off the voting rolls because they want to get ready for the next election, right? So that they can stay in power. We've seen the undermining of our planet and our environment, the poisoning of everything that our children will never be able to enjoy. We've seen the blurring of the separation between religion and secular state. This is a secular country. And by the way, Pete Buttigieg, I don't give a damn about your freaking faith. This is a secular country. A secular country. How many times do I have to say it? We've seen the Trump policy of betraying our allies. The Kurds, for example. Abandoning our European allies for Putin, for Kim. The Senate, which once again is now poised by Moscow Mitch to exonerate a criminal creep traitor with a kangaroo impeachment trial. Thank the goddess for Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Party. They are standing between us and totalitarianism, and I know this party has a ton of flaws too. But right now they're doing the right thing. And here's a nice one for you folks. I've read that Don Jr., Anal Orifice Maximus, wants to run for president in Y2k20. You heard me, right? Hey, they want to be the dynasty for the rest of our pathetic lives. I believe we only have one existence. That's right, one existence. And I certainly do not want to live any of it, 1 millisecond of it under a Trump, Putin, or any other tin pot dictator. When is enough enough?